I have a spare back home.
Yeah, I actually have a crab arm that I've been dying to try.
This is the intro song to the podcast King of the What Now. Join us as we go on a journey, going to talk about pirates, battle and adventure. We think we're pretty funny, we hope you will too. Luffy, he's gotta be the king of something. We weren't really listening, sorry about that. Hopefully he'll achieve his dreams, yeah.
Hello, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line. I'm Joel, and with me as always is Curtis, and I think Stockholm Syndrome is finally kicking in.
I love you.
Perfect. I more meant for the anime One Piece, but you know, whatever, I'll take it. If you love me, you'll love the things that I'm into. I think that's how that works. Alright, so we just finished watching episode 4 of One Piece, entitled Luffy's Past, The Red-Haired Shanks Appears. And not surprisingly, he has red hair, so that's fantastic.
Except for his beard.
Yeah, his beard was black, but I think it was just kind of stubble at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe if we see him in 400 episodes when he gets hot, he'll have a full beard.
Does he get hot in 400 episodes, Joel?
I'm not sure.
Is he not hot
I'm not
enough?
willing to confirm or deny.
Is he not hot enough for you now?
I need my men to be at least a 13 out of 10 before I'll bat my eye at them. So, what did you think of this episode?
It was a good episode. Gives some good backstory to Luffy and his motivations, where he gets his power from, where he got the hat from.
Still no answer on the scar, though. In the flashbacks,
No.
he had no scar, and then in the present he does. So sometime between then and now.
Correct.
You know, I probably shouldn't have asked you what you thought of the episode before I asked you to summarize it. I'm sorry, my notes are a little disorganized. So, can you kind of briefly touch on the details for anyone who may not remember the exact content of the episode or who hasn't seen it yet?
Yeah. So the beginning of the episode has Nami.
The mysterious girl who...
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
It's fine. Our viewers know that her name is Nami, but technically we still don't have a name for her.
Yes. Okay, so we saw the mysterious girl. She tricked some pirates and stole their ship, and that's basically all that matters at that beginning, the opening scene. And then most of the rest of the episode is a flashback to when Luffy was a kid, and it has him with Shanks, who is the captain of his own pirate crew, also wearing now Luffy's hat.
Yes. In the past, it was Shanks' hat,
Yes. They're hanging out in a bar, teasing Luffy, that sort of stuff.
How old is Luffy in this flashback?
I think he's 7 or 8. And
Yeah,
I
okay.
think they actually say his age.
That's the point I wanted to get to is, was this a flashback from a week ago? No, this was several years ago. He was 8, he was like child age, and nowadays I think he's 16, I
was going to
believe.
ask.
Yeah.
Okay. So then some bandits come in. There's a small scuffle where basically Shanks doesn't fight back because he doesn't really care about them, right? But Luffy's like, why didn't you fight back? You're not a real man. Yada, yada, yada. The important part from the end of that scene is Luffy finds a piece of fruit on the counter and starts eating it.
Whole fruit.
Whole fruit. It's like the size of his head. And apparently that was the
Gumu Gumu Nomi, the gum gum fruit.
Yes.
In the English version.
Yes.
Yep.
So now he has gum powers.
Yep.
Now he's made out of rubber. Also, we learned that if you eat a devil fruit, you lose your ability to swim.
Yep.
It was the first episode when they talk about that, which becomes important later because at some point after that event, the bandits come back and they're insulting the pirates, and Luffy gets upset. So then Luffy goes and hunts down, quote unquote. He goes and finds the bandits down by the harbor and wants to pick a fight with them. And obviously, it's a bunch of grown men and a little 7-year-old. So they get the upper hand, and then Shanks and the crew come, and they save him.
Yep.
Because obviously they are badasses.
Oh, clearly.
And the bandits, the mountain bandits, didn't know that.
Right.
But the leader gets away with Luffy, and they go out into a little ship into the harbor, and the leader tosses Luffy into the water. But he can't swim now.
Sure.
So he's starting to drown. And then Shanks comes out and saves him. While Shanks is saving him, a sea monster comes and... Does he eat the guy or just destroy his ship?
Totally 100. I'm pretty sure the bandit is dead.
Okay, so he eats the bandit who was in his ship and takes off Shanks' arm. But then Shanks stares down the sea monster, and the sea monster runs away or swims away. And then they get back to shore. You know, they're okay, but Luffy's like, what about your arm? He's like, it's okay, I have another one. Assuming he means the other one that's currently attached to his body and not some spare at home. Then the Shanks and the pirates are leaving the harbor, and Luffy's saying goodbye, and he expresses that he wants to be a pirate, and Shanks is like, I don't think you can ever be a pirate. But Luffy's insistent, so Shanks gives Luffy his hat.
Yep.
Puts it on his head and tells him that he should bring the hat back to him in good condition one day when he is a great pirate.
When Luffy is a great pirate. That's
Yes.
absolutely correct. Yeah. Then we flash back to the present for like a little bit of stuff. Basically set up for the next episode. more or
Yeah.
less.
Do you want to go over that real quick?
Sure, yeah.
So Luffy and Zoro are on their ship, and they're hungry, and they see a bird flying overhead, and Luffy's like, I'm going to get the bird. So he slingshots himself up. Off the
Rockets
mast.
himself.
Okay, rockets himself
Yeah.
up. The bird is much larger than it appeared, and grabs Luffy
By the head and drags him off.
and
Yep.
flies away. And so Zoro chases after him. Then we flash to an island where the mysterious girl has stolen the map from Buggy the Pirate's crew.
Who got mentioned like last episode. Yeah.
And she's running away. The pirates, I think, are about to catch her or something. Anyways, they get stopped, and then Luffy falls from the sky because the bird... Oh, they shoot him down. That's
Yeah,
right.
Buggy shoots the bird, which causes the bird to drop Luffy, and Luffy falls literally like a foot from the mysterious girl.
And his only comment was, I don't remember if it was, I don't know where I've been, but that was awesome.
Yes, exactly. 100%. That's something along the lines of like, that was awesome. Also, Zoro, while trying to chase after Luffy, while Luffy's in the air, almost runs over 3 people who have been marooned in the middle of the ocean. And that's the same 3 people from the beginning of the episode that Nami tricked, the mysterious girl tricked. And they get on the ship and they info dump on Zoro. They tell him, like, we work for Buggy, who's eaten a devil fruit, and he's a very scary, dangerous pirate.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
so
that's right.
it's all the plots are connected. Everything is coming back together.
Everything's connected, Joel?
Everything is connected.
It's a holistic episode.
It's a
What did you
holistic
say?
pirate, yes.
Okay.
Quick plug-in for Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. The first season, I believe, is on Hulu. It's a fantastic watch, and we're both obsessed. So that's what that reference is. But, so anyways, yeah, so that was the episode. They don't officially give the sea monster a name. It just shows up, and it eats the bandit, and then Shanks kind of stares it down after giving up an arm or whatever.
Yeah.
They will later refer to those monsters as sea kings, and they are very scary. And they all, I believe, have a unique visual design. The opening actually shows like 3 or 4 of them alongside the ship or whatever, unless I'm going to eat you in more like, look at how pretty and majestic we are sort of ways.
Yeah.
So that's great. Okay, so what do you think will happen next episode?
I think the bird is going to come back,
Okay.
and they're going to take the bird all the way to One Piece.
All the way to the One
Yes,
Piece. Yeah,
you know.
fantastic.
Because, I mean, if you have a big flying bird, you should always take it to your destination.
Sure.
Don't just get
okay.
stopped halfway.
What if you just sent the bird on ahead to like scout, kind of like the path to the One Piece, and then like comes back and says, "Hey, there's kind of a big pirate crew on the east, so try going a little bit north and then over towards the island." Do you think that would work?
I mean, yeah, assuming you can speak with the bird.
Oh, that's certainly true. You would need some kind of a bird to human translator.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think obviously we're gonna see some more. Well, we should see Buggy the pirate because they plugged him a bunch now, and we'll get to see what his powers are.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm trying to organize my thoughts, questions that I want to go over with you. The most interesting to me, I suppose, is that we're being led to believe that Buggy is going to be a force that exists in this world. Do you think friend or foe?
Foe.
Foe? Okay, do you think that's just the natural laws that pirates fight each other?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. We know that he has a devil fruit, and as we explain in episode 0 whatever, you have seen some future content. You know a little bit of... Do you remember what powers Buggy the Clown has?
No, I do not, Joel.
Okay, and what would you speculate that they... So far we've only seen one devil fruit, and it's Luffy, and his body's made out of rubber. So what do you think Buggy can do?
He can juggle while riding a unicycle and honking his nose.
I see. I guess he's called Buggy the Clown. I was going to say, why do you suspect he's going to be on a unicycle or whatever?
I mean, because think about it. That's a hard set of skills to do all at once because you need both hands to juggle and you need at least one hand to honk your nose.
Of course,
And
that's
I mean,
true.
if you're eating a devil fruit and this is the power that you're given, your only option is to become a clown. So that would explain why he's a clown.
Okay, sure, yeah. He actually wanted to be a lawyer, And
Yeah.
then he ate the fruit, and it was all over after that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, he tried. He went into court once, and the jury just wouldn't take him seriously when he was riding around on his unicycle going, "I rest my case." Honk, honk.
Yeah, fantastic. I say that a lot. All right, next question of interest, I think, is why do you think Shanks had the gum fruit? Because Luffy for those who don't see the episode or don't remember, Shanks basically looked away and he heard eating sounds coming from Luffy, and he turns, and as soon as he sees Luffy eating it, he goes, "Oh no," spit it out, and he goes, "Luffy, you ate the gum fruit." So it's not like he was like, "I know you ate a devil fruit, I don't know what it is." He clearly knew what it was, but no one on his crew had eaten it?
Yeah.
What do you think the story is?
So we were talking about this after it happened. I think he's probably taking the fruit to give to somebody. Because originally I was like, well, he's saving it for himself. And you made the point of, well, why wouldn't he just eat it, right? Why would he save it for a special occasion? So it's likely that he had it. His intention was to give it to someone, whether they asked for it or I don't
Just
know.
like force feed it to them until they're asleep?
No, but I mean, like, did someone say, "Hey, go get this fruit for me," or did he go get it and say, "Hey, I got this. I think you should eat it"?
Maybe that's how you propose. Like, maybe that's how you get married in One Piece, is you present them with a devil fruit, and then maybe they eat it or something, and it's a sign of good fortune sort of thing.
Probably.
Shanks also clearly stated that his hat was very important. It was the most important thing to him. At the very beginning of the episode, he was like, "I'm never going to let you have this hat, Luffy, because it's the most important thing to me. I won't let anyone else have it." And then at the end of the episode, it comes full circle because he decides Luffy's man enough at the age of 8 to have the hat. What do you think? It's just because it makes him look so good, or do you think there's more backstory?
Maybe the hat is lined with tinfoil,
Okay.
and it keeps the Navy from reading his thoughts.
Okay, sure. That would make sure that the Navy always stayed in powers if they could read the thoughts of their enemies.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And they'd be like, "Where did you take all of your stolen goods?" And you'd lie. You'd be like, "I don't have any stolen goods." They would just immediately know. And so from now on, Shanks will never have any more treasure, I think, is the important thing.
Yeah. No, he's going to be a very poor pirate.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too is I haven't read all of I am caught up on the manga, but I started watching One Piece before I started reading, and I believe that the first chapter of the manga starts off with Shanks, whereas in the anime you wait 3 episodes, you meet Zoro and Kobe and the mysterious girl before they set aside time to do a flashback. Which do you think you would prefer?
It probably makes sense doing what they did in the show to kind of draw you in and to give some of the information that's given in the flashback some context.
Sure.
Because otherwise you don't know, like, the rubber power thing, like, I guess that would be your first introduction to it, is when Shanks has him up, he's holding him by his ankles.
Yeah,
and he like
stretches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think having like seen it in action and kind of giving backstory, at least you have a little bit of like understanding of who he becomes.
Yep.
And it makes a little more sense.
I think, too, in terms of identifying with the main character, you don't want a character who is awesome but is emotionally vulnerable, and it seems like you want people to... I believe that the shonen genre is all about kind of power fantasy. So if you showed this 8-year-old kid who's like, "I'm awesome, my punches are like pistols," and then he loses basically the only fight he's in,
Yeah.
you wouldn't identify with him. Whereas if you have the version of him that shows up with Kobe, and he's this kind of powerful figure who one-shots Alvida, you go, "Wow, he's really strong." And then
Yeah.
you get this flashback and you go, "Oh, so he has a reason that he wants to be strong," and it all makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who is the MVP of this episode?
Oh, I was trying to think about this. I think
My personal MVP, since he seemed to be struggling, is the fat guy on red-haired Shanks' crew. Shanks has a crew of, you don't ever see, like, they never give you an official head count. It looks like quite a few, maybe 20, 30 people at least. But only 4 of them actually have names, and I only know 3 of their names. Mm-hmm. The important ones are the guy with the toothpick, the really tall one. His name's Beckham. I believe he's the second mate. The guy who has a headband on, I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. I'm not going to tell you what the headband says because you'll instantly go, "Oh, I think that might be connected to something." But he's important for
Okay.
reasons we'll get into. Shanks is important, obviously, as the captain of the Shanks Pirates. I believe they're called the Shanks Pirates. They're either the Shanks Pirates or the red-haired pirates.
Yeah.
Anyways, the fourth one who has a name that I don't know off the top of my head is the fat guy who is always eating. And in every shonen I've ever seen, if there's a fat character, almost always it's related to their powers. You know, like in Naruto, there was a fat guy who could convert calories into strength, and so he was always fat, but when he needed to, he could just give a really powerful punch, but then he'd be exhausted and he wouldn't have any energy left.
Yeah. So I thought about voting him for MVP, but I thought about it now. I think the MVP of this episode is one of the 3 guys who gets their boat stolen at the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
Specifically, it's the one who does not have to row at the end after Zoro beats them up.
Oh, sure, okay.
Because he comes out on top of that, right? Like, Zoro beats up all 3 of them, but he doesn't have to row the rest of the way, so it's okay.
Okay, fair enough. So what are you using to define MVP? You're defining whoever gains the most from the episode?
I'm defining MVP as whatever brings me pleasure to make them MVP.
Okay, sure, that makes sense. It's a very arbitrary title that you can give to whoever you want for whatever reason that you want.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
I'll come with a more scientific method later.
Another thought that occurred to me, so if you pay attention to the opening that we have, it seems like Nami, the mysterious girl, is connected to Luffy, probably ends up on the ship as another member of the crew. Mm-hmm. But isn't it interesting because she happened to be on the ship that Alvito was attacking where Luffy was discovered. She happened to be raiding the same marine base that Luffy was going to find Zoro. And she happens to be led to Buggy, and Luffy happens to, land there. So I will preface this with, I don't know the answer. This would be the very last chapter where they cover this, but do you think there's any kind of fate happening here? They're supposed to meet each other.
I mean, it's possible. I guess I haven't seen enough of the show to know if that fits the canon of the universe, right?
Okay, sure. Once you've gotten to 200 episodes, you'll kind of be like, how many times has he been lucky? How many times has he just happened to meet the right person?
Yeah. Well, so the first episode, they end up on the same ship, and I'm trying to remember. I don't know if we know exactly why she's there, other than to steal. I know she's there to steal the treasure from Alvita's crew, right?
Well, she was on the ship that got attacked by Alvita, so I think she might have just been going between one island and another, but she was looking for any opportunity to get treasure. So when Alvita,
but the last 2 times, right? She's at the Navy base looking for the map, right?
Yes, the map, the chart of the Grand Line that Buggy stole.
And then she goes to Buggy's base to get the map. So, I mean, I guess, it's clear what her intentions are, but obviously Luffy just kind of ends up there by happenstance. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's probably some sort of fate.
Sure. I think it's hard for me to not accidentally spoil things or to say, oh, it seems like this, and I'm not sure if it's hindsight or not. However, I do think that the author, Oda, wants you to know that her character is important in some way, and I think you want a lot of intrigue about what she is, so that way when she's actually a foreground character, you already are a little bit more interested in their story than if she just showed up one day.
Yeah, because they have been teasing her for a while. I mean, the whole episode 3 was named after her, even though she was still played very little role in any of the episodes up to this point.
Sure. Yeah, she's just a potential ally/foe who keeps crossing paths, and now this episode ends with them actually making eye contact. So it seems like whatever her story is, maybe it'll start next.
Yep.
Do you think that this episode was filler?
That's an interesting question, Joel.
Yeah?
No, because it gives important information about Luffy's backstory, though it is mostly outside of the timeline in terms of that it's a flashback.
It's
right?
all flashbacks. Sure.
But I don't think it's filler. There's important information in the episode.
Absolutely. The straw hat and the gum fruit and all that stuff, that's not something that you would put in a filler episode. That's canonical information.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe that covers it. Do you think anything from this episode felt like foreshadowing for important events coming up?
Well, I mean, they set up the next episode.
Sure.
Because Nami was running our mysterious girl. The mysterious girl was running away with the map, about to get captured by the pirates. And Luffy...
You forgot the name for Luffy. That's amazing.
Yeah. Luffy ends up, there too. And stuff's going to happen now.
Yeah, absolutely. See, so when I say foreshadowing, I don't mean foreshadowing for the next 5 minutes. I mean, Do you think in 100 episodes the name Shanks will come up and be important? Do you think the bandits from the town that Luffy was at is going to be important, that sort of thing?
So Shanks will definitely be important. My assumption is the mountain bandits are all a one-hit wonder.
Sure.
That they're just there for Shanks to fight later, right?
Yeah, they're
Or Shanks'
fodder
crew.
to show how awesome Shanks is.
Yeah, exactly. So my assumption is that they won't come back, but Shanks will definitely come back.
Absolutely. So, Chris, a couple of episodes ago, I believe it was the actual first episode, we were talking about voice actors, and I was saying that in the English dub, the voice actors for, like, Luffy and the Straw Hat crew, a lot of them are the main characters from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Krillin is the voice of, I think, Usopp and things like that. I actually just remembered when I was watching Dragon Ball Super that I recognized the voice of one character in particular. I recognized Japanese, the sub, not the dub, of Krillin. I went, that voice sounds really familiar. Voiced by the same Japanese voice actor as Luffy.
Oh.
Like 100%, as soon as I heard it, I went, oh my god, that's Luffy. And there was someone else too. I'm sure people who are very good with Japanese voice actors will be able to say, like, well, obviously you missed these, like, 8 characters, but Buggy the Clown, their voice actor, Japanese, is also in the original Japanese audio of Yu Yu Hakusho as one of the main 4 characters too. So when my wife and I went back and we were rewatching it, we watched one episode subbed, and I went, oh my god, that's Buggy the Clown. So I just thought I would share that with you.
It's good that they're getting more work, as opposed to like, all right, you recorded all the episodes for One Piece.
Oh, geez.
Time to take you out back.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked into like how much money you make as a voice actor, especially there's probably a difference, I assume, between in America versus in Japan. I would assume that if you're one of the main characters of a long-running show, Dragon Ball or One Piece, I'd assume that you have enough money to sustain you, but it is interesting that you kind of get the same voices in, like, a bunch of different things, right? You have, like, this long-running anime, and, like, you have the one voice who is always in, like, every show.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, he has silence to add, and that's a wonderful contribution. Thank you, everyone, and see you soon. All right, folks, we've reached the end of this episode for today. It's sad to see you go, but fortunately we'll be here next week unless we get hit by a meteor. In the meantime, you can follow us on all sorts of different social media. We have Gmail, Patreon, Tumblr, all of those are King of the What Pod. So patreon.com/King of the What Pod, King of the What Pod at gmail.com, kingofthewhatpod.tumblr.com. That's all great. If you want to follow us on Twitter, that name's a little different. They restrict the length of your handles. So you can follow us on Twitter at Kotwin_pod. That's KOTWN_pod. Just take the name of the podcast and abbreviate it.
Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. That can be iTunes, Spotify, or whatever. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go. We hope to grow and improve just like the Straw Hat crew.
Thanks again for listening in. Be sure to check the feed next week for the latest episode of King of the What Now. Until then, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, that doesn't need to be literal treasure.